Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Lessons for Life from Swami Jagadatmananji's inspiring book Learn to Live, Volume 1, Chapter 1. The Hidden Truth, Infinite Power Hidden Within You. Swami Vivekananda's most favorite subject was: how can we manifest the infinite strength, knowledge, wisdom, joy, peace that is already within us? Swamiji taught that we have to instill self-confidence in the minds of our children so that they grow into enlightened members of the global community. Now, let us listen to Swami Jagadatmananji's discussion on this important subject. Let there be light. Swami Vivekananda said, the remedy for weakness is not brooding over weakness, but thinking of strength that is already within them. Instead of telling them they are sinners, the Vedanta takes the opposite position and says, you are pure and perfect, and what you call sin does not belong to you. Sins are low degrees of self-manifestation. Manifest yourself in a higher degree. That is the one thing to remember. All of us can do that. Never say no. Never say I cannot, for you are infinite. Even time and space are nothing compared to your nature. You can do anything and everything. You are almighty. Swami Vivekananda continues, as I have said to the Indians again and again, if there is darkness of centuries in a room, and we go into the room and begin to cry, oh, it is dark, will the darkness go? Bring in the light and the darkness will vanish at once. This is the secret of reforming men. Suggest to them higher things. Believe in man first. Why start with the belief that man is degraded and degenerated? I have never failed in my faith in man in any case, even taking him at his worst. Wherever I had faith in man, though at the first prospect was not always bright, yet it triumphed in the long run. Have faith in man, whether he appears to you to be a very learned one or a most ignorant one. Have faith in man, whether he appears to be an angel or the very devil himself. Have faith in man first, and then, having faith in him, believe that there are defects in him. If he makes mistakes, if he embraces the crudest and vilest doctrines, believe that it is not from his real nature that they come, but from the want of higher ideals. If a man goes towards what is false, it is because he cannot get what is true. Therefore, the only method of correcting what is false is by supplying him with what is true. Do this and let him compare. You give him the truth, and there your work is done. Let him compare it in his own mind with what is already in him. And mark my words, if you have really given him the truth, the false must vanish. Light must dispel darkness, and truth will bring the good out. Now Swami Jagadatmananji narrates this real life incident, a very touching incident. Blockhead becomes bright. A brother monk told me about the total transformation of a boy living in a hostel run by our organization, that is, by Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission. These are his own words. Once I was talking to all the boys of the hostel who had gathered around me. How many children of our country have the good fortune to have the benefit of good education? You see, most parents are not able to read or write. In remote villages, facilities are scanty. It is difficult to go to school every day. At the school, that is, at the rural school, village school, due to scarcity of funds, one or two teachers have to teach, say, 200 students. Though the pupils may have attended school for 4 or 5 years, they would develop an inferiority complex when they compare themselves with the boys attending schools in large towns and cities. They may feel embarrassed and frightened, but you are more fortunate. You have so many opportunities open. You have a very good library here. There are senior students to guide you. Every care is taken to see that there is absolutely no distraction to turn you from studies. You have no burdens, barring a few small regular assignments. Still, if you have any problem, we try to overcome them. But see to it that you are adequately making use of the opportunity provided by God to study here. If we don't make the best of the opportunity readily available, there would be no way to lift ourselves up. We may live to regret later. Thus I explained. The boys were listening to me silently, with rapt attention. About 9 o'clock in the evening, Niranjan, a 7th standard boy, came into my room and said, "Swamiji, I have been thinking of asking you about something. Shall I?" "Sure," I said. "Swamiji, would you teach me mathematics to me alone?" "All right," I said. "I shall set apart half an hour every day for the purpose. Come to me after dinner." I knew very well that he had earned the notoriety of being a lazy, dull-headed boy who never worked hard and who did not hesitate to cheat teachers by copying in the examination. He appeared before me on time with his notebook and pencil. His knowledge of mathematics was only of the 3rd grade. I felt unsure whether I could ever teach him mathematics and make him pass the examination. Even though I was skeptical about my success in teaching him mathematics, I thought it morally wrong to add insult to injury by using the stereotype expressions. "You are useless. You have no interest in studies as your head is filled with straw. You are good for nothing." I was aware of the uncalled for arrogance of the so-called intelligent students. I was of the opinion that real virtue was in combining intelligence with simplicity, modesty, and humility. I was anxious to see whether I could teach him something by erasing the impression of being constantly snubbed as a useless boy. I didn't mind the difficulty. I wanted to give him a chance. Every evening for a period of 3.5 months, I coached him. In the first instance, I gave him about 100 sums, which were simple and in doing which one could not go wrong. My idea was to instill self-confidence and interest in him. The later 50 sums were progressively difficult. When on the first day he could do the first sums correctly, I said to him encouragingly, "Very good, Niranjan, you have done these sums correctly. Excellent, you are interested in mathematics." My plan was to induce him to do 100 sums without mistake. By God's grace, the plan worked. When he did all the 100 sums without an error, I said, "Niranjan, who told you that you are incapable of working out problems in mathematics? You see, you didn't make a single mistake. You will get certainly 70% marks this time in the examination." I was thrilled to find the glow of self-confidence and high spirits in him. He began to do the sums from 8:30 p.m. up to 10:30 p.m., sometimes with steady concentration. 4 months later, in the examination, he did get 70% marks, not copying from others, but by using his own ability. The satisfaction and joy that he felt at that moment were beyond words. His spirit shone brightly like a blossoming flower. It was a revealing lesson to me also. It was a revealing lesson to me too. His parents, who heard the story of his miraculous progress, came to the hostel, expressed their joy at the event, and thanked me profusely.